Some memories become clearer with time. 42 years ago, at this very spot where a well once stood, two brothers received a scar that would never fade. I remember the needle. Dad dipped it in ink, twisted thread around it like a rope, and pressed it into our skin. It hurt so much that we cried for hours. Our hands were completely swollen. The tattoos were carved into the brothers' arms when Thomas was just 8 years old, and his younger brother Kevin was 6. But the person who gave these young children their tattoos wasn't a stranger, it was their own father. At the time, their father had just undergone major spinal surgery and was suffering from serious complications. He couldn't move properly after the operation. With 3 children to care for and their mother having already left the family, this man who had been working in tile manufacturing to support his kids alone was now bedridden and unable to work. Suddenly, he called his children over and began tattooing their arms. As he worked, tears streaming down his face, he said something the brothers will never forget. "If anything happens to you, I will find you. I will always find you." After receiving their tattoos, the brothers spent 5 years in an orphanage. Though they eventually reunited with their father years later, the tattoos remained not just on their skin, but as emotional scars that never fully healed. People mocked us constantly. We got called names. I searched online so many times trying to understand what this mark meant. But then, just a few months ago, something unbelievable appeared before their eyes. This, a single photo posted on social media. A cross with 4 dots underneath, identical to the tattoos on their arms. The person who posted this photo was a woman in her 40s, living across the ocean in America. The moment Thomas saw her childhood photo, he knew. It just hit me instantly. Everything about the image, every feeling I just knew. This is my little sister. The woman living in America was their lost sister. How could this be possible? 42 years ago, on that same day when the tattoos were carved, there was a third child present, a 2-year-old baby girl named Helen. This photo shows our family, my father and his 3 children. Helen, my younger brother, and me. This is him praying, kneeling in prayer. So the cross with 4 dots below represented their father and his 3 children. 2-year-old Helen was also sent away after getting her tattoo, along with her brothers. But a year later, when they were being transferred to an orphanage, only the baby sister was separated from them. That's how they lost their sister 42 years ago. Every time the brothers looked at their tattoos, they were tormented by guilt and longing. Guilt that they couldn't protect their baby sister. But after 42 years, this family code had suddenly appeared on social media. I was 100% certain the name Sarah matched, and it wasn't just the tattoo. When I saw the photo, I knew immediately. This was her. This was definitely our Helen. Was she really the baby sister the brothers had longed for all these years? We traveled to Salt Lake City, Utah, to meet the woman in the photo. Sarah Jones had used a pen to trace over the faint scars on her arm and posted the image online. She told us that as a child she had an identical tattoo. It was her adoptive parents who had the strange tattoo, surgically removed through skin grafts when she was young. Sarah was a Korean adoptee. Adopted to America at age 2, Sarah grew up loved by her adoptive parents. She's now a successful lawyer and CEO of a tech company. She even founded an NGO for women in technology and has been a speaker at major conferences. Though she married an American man and built a happy family, her longing to find her birth parents only grew stronger. All she knew was her name, birth date, and birthplace. In this seemingly hopeless situation, she remembered the tattoo. 1 month after posting the tattoo image on social media, she received an incredible email. After seeing Sarah's tattoo online, Thomas's family had contacted her through an adoption agency. The first person to hear this news was the brother's uncle, who had specific memories about his lost niece. On behalf of Thomas's deceased father, he sent her a message. The uncle told Sarah that her father had mentioned her. Birthday was just 1 day different from his own. When they checked Sarah's birth date in the adoption records was indeed 1 day earlier than the uncle's birthday. The Korean name she was called, and her birthplace of Jeonju, everything matched. As a final confirmation, the family proceeded with genetic testing. But just when a family reunion seemed certain, devastating news arrived. We naturally thought the tests would match, so we requested the examination. Unfortunately, the result came back negative. The genetic tests showed they were not related. I felt like the sky was falling. We truly believed there was no way we couldn't be a match. How could this happen? The uncle thought he knew why, but had kept it secret. She was already hurt by being adopted. I didn't want to cause her more pain by telling her. The truth was that Helen's mother was different from the brother's mother. I had no idea. My father never told us anything about that. I just always believed she was my sister Helen, unconditionally. The problem is that genetic testing, comparing saliva samples, cannot easily prove paternal relationships when mothers are different. More complex additional testing would be required for accurate confirmation. But after that day, contact with Sarah was lost. If I put myself in Helen's shoes, it must have been an enormous shock. I really thought we should just be satisfied, knowing our Helen was alive and well. We were only worried about hurting our sister's feelings again. But after a long silence, an unexpected email arrived from her. Sarah said she was coming to meet the family. We're just grateful that Helen is coming. And the meaning of our father's tattoo has become clear. I can't express this in words. I just want to see Helen's face every single second. I haven't seen her for 45 years. In a few days, when they meet their sister, what should they say first? Won't she resent her inadequate older brothers? Though they've imagined this scene countless times, their fear is as great as their anticipation. How long have they waited? Someone's here! Coming, here! Helen stood before her brothers. Kevin rushed forward to embrace his sister. Uncle! 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 She also shared a warm embrace with the uncle, who had exchanged the most messages with her before this meeting. I never thought I'd hold this hand again in this lifetime. This moment feels like a dream. Helen must be exhausted. We've waited 45 years, we can wait a little longer. The tattoo that was once a scar they wanted to erase had brought together a family who hadn't known if the others were even alive. Their father's intention, the miracle of the cross tattoo, it had finally come true. No longer Sarah, but as Helen again, she had returned to her homeland after 42 years. Her first destination was her older brother's house, the same house, where their father lived until his death. At this moment, there's one person she wants to see more than anyone else. In the photograph, their father clearly resembles her. Grandfather. When father was alive, we'd go to play by the stream. This was taken during a family outing. But as Helen looks at her father's photo, her gaze stops at one spot. In the picture, there's a faint cross tattoo visible on their father's arm. I lived with grandfather when I was young. Sometimes when he felt sad or struggling, he would talk about his daughter. He said he missed her, wanted to see her. When things got difficult, he'd say he wished she was alive. Helen, who had always shown only bright expressions, finally lets her suppressed tears flow. Her longing was as deep as her resentment. Why did you abandon me? She had asked this countless times to parents, whose names she didn't even know. But now she understands how much her father loved her, and what heart he put into this clearly carved tattoo. How happy he would have been if he could be here today. The three siblings have gathered before their father after 42 years. What their father tried to leave behind by inflicting painful wounds on his young children and himself. His belief that if they never lost hope, someday, a miracle would begin from that scar has come true. 1, 2, 3.